Yeah, it's lowered an octave since Friday.
Hi, Jamie.
It says online.
There's Bert. There's Bert now.
Okay.
I'll just back out.
All right. Welcome everyone to the November 24th meeting of the West Parry Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Board. First item, any additions to the open agenda? Seeing none. On to approval of the agenda. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Bert Leverance or Reva Leverance, sorry, seconded by Councillor Fellner. That this agenda for the November 24th, 2025 West Parry Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Board is hereby approved as circulated. Discussion? All's in favor? Carried. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Move on to approval of minutes. Kind of mover and a seconder. Moved by Mayor McGarvey, seconded by Councillor Kelly. That the minutes of the October 8, 2025 regular meeting of the West Parry Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Board are hereby approved as circulated. Discussion on the minutes? Call the question. All's in favor? It's carried. Delegations of correspondence on schedule for tonight. On to item 3 for business, 3.1. Any updates from the steering committee that aren't going to be following later on in the meeting?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to say that
Your microphone, please.
Mr. Chair, I just say that we're moving along well with the NHOFC grant application. We've got some questions back from them. Quite a detailed 10-page form that we need to fill out, but we're just fill in the process. There's nothing in there that's really concerning. It's just the process, and we're hoping to submit that by the end of this week. So it's moving along well. And if that grant application is successful, you'll see it later on in the budget. Just over 4 million in requests, and 50 of that, up to 50% of that can get funded. So that's $2 million that we could have towards the project.
Great. Okay. Good news. Thank you. On to item 3.2, the monthly financial reports. Ms. Phillips, Board Treasurer, welcome.
Thank you. So as of the end of October, the balance sheet shows a cash balance of $1,674, and the charity bank account is now at $105,000. There's a receivable of $1.87 million, and that's reflected for Claim 8 in ISIP grant funding. Capital work in progress is now at $22.6 million. As of October, $2.5 million is payable for the line of credit usage at this time. And the statement of operations, $709,329 in donations, almost $5,000 in other fundraising initiatives, and $291,500 in sponsorship naming rights revenues have been received year to date. $4.97 million in grant revenues have been claimed year to date. Funds on hand are earning interest of close to 62,000. Some minor expenses for bank charges, software, website, and other promotional costs are reflected. In addition, $18,250 in insurance costs and $100,000 approximately in legal and other professional services is reflected, which includes audit fees, input tax sale advice, as well as a variety of other agreement-related works. $1,270 in interest for the line of credit usage been recorded year to date. As of October, the total fundraising to date is at $3 million of the targeted $5 million, and this includes $1.7 million in future financial commitments for sponsorship and naming rights, etc. That's a high-level overview of the statements. I'd be happy to answer any questions related to those.
You know, put the resolution on the table. If you have questions or comments to the resolution. Mover and seconder for the financials, moved by Reeve Liver, seconded by Councillor Fellner. that the October 31st, 2025 financial reports be received for information. Any questions or discussions on those reports? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? It's carried. Item 3.3, project and budget update submitted by the steering committee. Mr. Malute, Mr. Greenwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, another month of meaningful progress and good work being put in with our partners at Ball Construction. Happy to invite Mr. Malute on to provide the details and share the forecast as to where we're headed.
Mr. Malute, welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I'll
Good
share
evening.
my screen here.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah, so this is a project update here for the Tamarack North Center. We've been going over the short-term construction schedule, overall project schedule, budget update, and contingency update. Starting off here with the short-term schedule. So we're working away at interior walls and ceilings. So that's both block walls as well as dry walls, and our drywall contractor is working on installing ceiling grids and permanent drywall ceilings in the areas that are ready. We have been working away at the finished painting, so they're currently just wrapping up the gymnasium, the overhead, and working away at the mechanical room shortly in the next couple of weeks. Mechanical rough-ins and equipment installation is well underway. Both working on all the systems. We've got equipment delivered, although not placed yet or installed in this final locations, but within the building ready for installation. Electrical team is also working away at installing all the conduits. We've got a lot of the electrical panels, transformers, and switch gears installed. We have completed the installation of the grounding for the building on the exterior, and we're currently waiting for Lakeland. I believe we're scheduled for potentially next week to install the permanent transformer outside the building. HVAC work is also proceeding well, with focusing now with the work above the change rooms and mechanical rooms. Sprinkler system is progressing well as well. Majority of the installation is completed now. Some finer work will be done once we have our final ceilings in. They're currently working away at the connections within the sprinkler room. Miscellaneous metals, we're working away as well at the installing the curtain wall headers and block wall support members. That's ongoing. In terms of building envelope enclosure, we are close to being complete all the metal siding. We do still have the one opening left for the pool, and our glazing contractor has been doing well. Currently near completion of all the exterior glass installation. They're working away at finishing that, installing exterior frames and finishing those curtain walls. And they're also working on fabrication on the interior glazing components. In terms of exterior work, so we are currently wrapping up the granular A subgrade, doing the final fine grading of that. We've completed about 80% of the site curbs, and the balance will be done in the spring, that being the portion of the tie into the main road. For overall project schedule, continuing activities. Actually, before I go there, just to highlight this picture here. So this one, we're looking at the southeast building here, so we can see the underside of the canopy, The metal siding has been installed. This was taking a little bit a while ago. We do have the concrete here completed as well. But this you can see the color of the underside here. Overall project schedule. So mechanical electrical team is going to be ongoing, installing all the components and transitioning into the final equipment. Sprinkler system, as I mentioned, they're near completion here with some work left to do. Once we get some ceilings in, so as those are completed, we can finalize that. Interior walls, we're continuing with that as well. We have the block walls scheduled to return, the subtrade scheduled to return this month, and sorry, in the month of December, and that will complete all the block walls. The pool stainless steel structure. So as you can see here in the picture, we have received a couple of the panels, and they have been partially installed to date. And we have also installed, I don't believe I put a picture, but we have put the foundation for the therapeutic pool as well. This brings me to my next tough point to touch base on here, but we have been having some challenges here with the manufacturing of the stainless steel walls, which is behind schedule at the moment, and we're currently evaluating and coming up with a game plan here to see what we can do to expedite the installations once we have them on site, and also determining what impact it has to the overall project schedule. For exterior work, we're also looking to do the base asphalt paving around middle of this week here. So that's going to be almost the entire site, but some areas left out, which will be completed in the spring. In terms of project budget, there has no change in the overall budget. We are currently right now still working on the landscape tender. We're reviewing some value engineering options to see if we can reduce some of the costs with that. And then we're also working with the future tenant here to finalize the audio-visual scope of work and make sure we're getting the right products for the building use. And overall project budget, it's still around 39.5 million. In terms of the construction contingency, so I'll touch base on the last point here. To date, we have 365,750 and 56 cents in contract changes, and our construction contingency is currently sitting at 732,810 and 92 cents. I'll go over some pictures here. So we're looking here at the southwest corner, so we can see under all these orange tarps, that's actually the curbs that have been completed, and these tarps are there for protect against the colder temperatures. As you can see, we've also hoarded the building. We have in building heat, we're heating up the building. And then you can also see the glazing here, the glass itself being installed in all the openings. Here we're looking at the gymnasium area. So as I mentioned earlier, our main focus here is completing the overhead painting. So over here, the guys are working hard to complete painting of the steel joists and all the mechanical, electrical conduits and HVAC. And they've also done the first coat on some of these drywalls and also the block filler on the lower portion of the walls. Over here, I do have an updated picture here of the southeast corner. So over here, you can see the overall corner. So we've got the glazing installed in this area as well. And as I mentioned, we do have the sidewalk that's connecting the building to the public sidewalk nearly completed. We're going to do the final tie-in in the spring. Over here, it's actually inside of the pool. So mentioning earlier, the concrete here, this is the foundation for for the stainless steel walls of the therapeutic pool. And then over here on the left side, you can see we still have the opening, although it's hoarded in, for deliveries of the stainless steel walls. Over on the left and right pictures, just a snapshot of the work inside the change room. So on the left-hand side here, we're actually looking at the three bathrooms in the universal change room. And you can see we're working our way at mechanical and electrical components overhead. And then on the right-hand side here, we're looking at the mechanical room. So we've got all the or the majority of the permanent equipment within the room, just waiting for it to be set. And that brings to the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening, and I'll take any questions if there are.
Okay, thank you for that update. Any questions? Dr. Kelly?
Through the chair, thank you very much for your update, and thank you very much to you and your team for all your work and for the tour that you provided to the board probably a month ago or so now. It was amazing to see the project firsthand and to be able to walk inside. Since then, obviously, parts of the pool have actually been delivered, and it was interesting to see some of them in that picture installed. When do you expect to have all of the parts of the pools on site?
Yeah, we definitely were excited to have to touch base on your first point here. Excited to show you everybody around. We definitely like to keep you guys up to date and familiar with the construction site, so everybody knows what we're going through. In terms of the stainless steel walls, so we're currently working with our subtrade here, who is under their contract to manufacture the stainless steel pools, and we're expecting the pools to arrive kind of on a weekly basis here, and the end target here is to have at least all the walls inside the building by the end of the year. We're trying to expedite, find different options, but that's kind of what we're looking at here.
Other questions or comments? Board members? No. I noticed driving by the other day, there was a transport truck there with some of this parking lot light standards there, so those are being delivered.
Yeah, we received those. Actually, the team was working on installing some of them today. So our goal is to get some lights outside the building as well.
And I might have missed it in your update. Has any of the first lift of asphalt been applied yet?
Not yet. We're scheduled to begin Wednesday, Thursday this week.
Well, that put you just ahead of the weather then, so good luck with that.
Yeah, we're really down to the last week, I think, here. So we've been trying to get this done here. So I think it's gonna happen here. Hopefully, the weather continues to collaborate here with us, so we can get it done.
There's no other questions, and I'll just put the resolution on to receive the report and move in a seconder. Moved by Mayor McGarvey, seconded by Reeve Liverance. That the board received the November 24th, 2025 project and budget update for information purposes. Any further discussion? All's in favor? Carried. Thank you, Mr. Malute. Have a good night.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Item 3.4 is just here, just making reading the licensing agreement with the YMCA for the facility operation into our minutes. Originally, we had done it. We had scheduled a press release, so it wasn't in the meeting that time. So now we're just putting it in the public, the realm of the public, but nothing, no changes or anything to that. So they're really just for information purposes. Item 3.5 is the 2025 draft budget. Presented, I think, starting with Ms. Phillips and then Mr. Purdy. YMCA after that.
Okay, thank you. The total 2025 operating budget being requested is 399,821. This budget includes 308,148. The YMCA's pre-opening budget and other total operating costs of $153,385, which is somewhat offset by interest earnings. The MSB has incurred approximately 127,000 year to date as of October. These costs include legal, consulting fees, insurance, financial system costs, website, trellis, and admin secretariat fee of 20,000 to the town of Parry Sound. The operating contribution being requested is equal to the annual contribution of 350,000 in the partnership agreement from 2021, which has since been indexed to 399,000 approximately, almost 400,000. In addition to the operating budget, the fitness equipment quotes and budget for other furnishings and equipment have been provided as attachment 3. The total required for equipment is $485,698 plus HST. No additional fundings being requested for capital at this time, as the MSB is hopeful that we're hopeful that the sale of property at 36 Smith Crescent will cover any funded capital amount, unfunded capital amounts, which include the equipment. So Fiona Caskinet's online and Ryan Purdy's here from the YMCA to deliver the pre-opening budget and touch on marketing and communications. So I'll ask you to join me here and I'll help you get that online.
Just while Mr. Purdy's getting set up, I'll just for the benefit of the board, let you know, we did have 2 meetings with the YMCA and our committee, which was Mr. Harris and Mr. Hunt and Councillor Fellner and myself and Ms. Phillips and Fiona Caskinet and Ryan Purdy from the YMCA involved in those meetings to get to this stage that you see before us tonight. Mr. Purdy, welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity for Fiona and I to speak tonight. As I said, my name is Ryan Purdy. I'm our Regional General Manager of Operations with the YMCA of Simcoe Muskoka, and I'm joined by Fiona, who is our Chief Operating Officer with the YMCA. And we'll jump right in. So we're going to go over a few things today. We have the sort of overview and approach of the budget. The proposed pre-opening investment into the project are some of the timelines for the work we're doing here to be ready to open, our shared impact, and of course, we'll open the floor if anyone has any questions about the pre-opening budget. We're happy to discuss. So from the very first day we open our doors, we want to ensure that the new Tamarack North Center is successful, and we want to ensure it stays that way. As a sustainable community center, a destination for health, connection, and belonging for people of all ages and stages. The way we do this is by starting early and investing appropriately during the pre-construction and construction phases. This approach helps us fulfill a number of our goals. All of the recommendations we're going to share today are based on established best practices for YMCA facilities across Canada, including many municipal partnerships developed in alignment with YMCA Canada and external subject matter experts. We know that successful health, fitness, and aquatic center openings across the country have been rooted in consistent processes that begin well in advance of construction. Done well, these processes can generate new member sales, create strong, positive staff relationships and culture, enable community engagement and momentum, and lay the operational groundwork for the best possible participant experience. So we'll explore this a little further, but the overview, salaries and benefits are $147,852. Staff development and uniforms, $31,125. Marketing and communication engagement is $90,000. Technology and communications, $3,720. And our general administration fee is $35,450. So for salaries and investments, $147,858 breaks down in mainly key staffing. It's important that a center manager is hired roughly 6 months out to opening. This allows them to immerse themselves within the community, as well as start to hire their direct supervisors, a team of 4 people. The direct supervisor team is a supervisor of cleaning and maintenance, supervisor of membership sales and service, supervisor of adult fitness, and supervisor of child, youth, and aquatics, with the goal date of hiring this team by February. We also will require a significant amount of frontline training that will happen 2 to 4 weeks prior to opening. This will go over our systems for all the membership sales and services team, YMCA training for all staff coming in, as well as how to safely open a facility and some team building. So that roughly takes 2 to 4 weeks prior to opening. And depending on the program and services that we're offering, will dictate the size of that team for when we're ready to open in late May. Staffing, development, and uniforms of $31,125. A couple of key things that we're going to have to do. We're going to have a joint health and safety team trained, ready to operate the facility. We're going to have pool operators that will have to be trained before opening. There's also a large contingency fund built in here if we're required to train and develop an aquatics team to safely open the facility. We're currently in the process of capturing that information from the community. Information went out today to the community, gauging interest for adult fitness as well as aquatics, so we can have a better understanding of our needs to support the training and onboarding of an aquatic and adult fitness team. So there is a budget built into that to be able to provide those qualifications so that we're in a position to open the pool should the community require such training. And we'll have a better understanding of those numbers in the coming weeks of what that looks like. Marketing and engagement, so $90,000 here. This work encompasses all stages of facility marketing, including awareness, education, and action phases to drive community understanding, build buy-in and momentum, and ensure the capturing and conversion of sales leads to memberships and other forms of participation. It also supports the recruitment of quality employees and the development of strong community partnerships. So the budget breakdown for this is $45,000 for the marketing communication strategy and implementation, as well as $45,000 in purchasing media and advertisement. So the marketing communication has 3 phases. Phase 1 is awareness, focused on developing the overall marketing and engagement strategy and driving widespread awareness and excitement about the new facility, the overall value proposition, soft fundraising asks, and communication of major project milestones. Phase 2 is education, engagement, and lead generation. This is focused on educating all target markets on the specific features, benefits, and amenities available, encouraging engagement in the project and driving leads into permission-based lists for ongoing communication, sales, and giving opportunities. And phase 3 is action, pre-sales, and opening, focused on driving action towards membership purchases and other important engagements with pre-sales and post-opening programs, along with continuing awareness and education efforts to drive as much membership growth as possible. So here are some examples of some collateral that we've used from across the country to sort of capture sort of the spirit of the YMCA with the Tamarack North Center. So technology and communications budget is around $3,720. This is fairly straightforward. This is going to be the licensing fee for the software system so that we can sell and purchase memberships, as well as some cell phones so that we're able to connect with the team while they're up here. And general administration. So the general administration reflects the essential contributions of our broader association in coordinating, guiding, and resourcing the successful opening of the center. So our current timelines, December 2025. We're working on right now, hiring our center manager for the Tamarack North Center, as well as producing an operating and pricing model for the Municipal Services Board. January, working again on that annual operating budget and looking for approval for June and onwards. February, this is the hope of starting our supervisor team. March, if required, this is when we'll start training our aquatic team. It could be upwards of close to 100 hours if we have to take our new staff from the beginning stages of their aquatic journey to being able to lifeguard and be a swim instructor by the end of May. Starting in April and May, this is when we're going to start membership pre-sales and frontline staff training. And then late May, that will be our opening day. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Questions? Board? Pardon me? Mr. Harris.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a comment that we all know that the Y has been involved for many, many years, long before the grant application was approved, in working with the community to getting us to the point where we could submit an application. But all through those years, Ryan was pretty much the face of the Y locally. And so I think we're really fortunate and pleased that he's in his role and still part of the Y, because he brings with him a lot of knowledge and understanding of Parry Sound, the area, and the enormous amount of effort that's gone on to get us to where we are today. And so we are fortunate to have that continuity and appreciate all his efforts.
Thank you. Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Chair. Just looking at the budget asked from the municipalities, is that question for Stephanie? So I appreciate all this stuff costs money. Just as we as municipalities are looking at our 2026 budgets, the table that's presented on page 48, is that asked for now 2025, or is that really 2026? I'm just not sure how it aligns with our budget years.
So the pre-operating budget is required in 2025. So the ask is for 2025, and then the MSB will be working together with the Y to come up with pricing and a budget for 2026, which would be once the center's in operations. So the majority of the budget relates to the pre-opening budget. And a smaller portion relates to ongoing operating costs that have happened at the MSB, or mostly professional services such as auditing or insurance related costs and things that have happened for the year.
So the ask is for the 399,000 from the municipalities, and that is essentially to kickstart the pool, fund, staffing, office equipment, everything mentioned, essentially provide funding to opening.
Yes, that's right. Provide funding to opening and cover some 2025 costs. Yes.
Thank you for the clarification.
And just along those lines, for further clarification, so there will be a budget coming early in the new year for 2026 for operating once the doors are open, which is different because obviously this budget has no revenue in it because there's no doors aren't open yet going. So there'll be two asks. There's this budget for now, and then very shortly you're going to be seeing the 2026 budget. Any questions? And I'll just draw on the marketing because our subcommittee did have some questions on marketing when we saw the $90,000 figure jumped off the page at us. So we dealt with that quite in depth, I think, with the YMCA, with Mr. Purdy and Cascanet. And I think SageCom information is attached to this as well, which kind of shows you where how the marketing, where that number came from. But at this point in time, it's not, the overall number is in the budget, but how and when it gets spent has not been defined yet because we're not there yet. I mean, early on, and I think Mr. Purdy can probably speak to that in terms of you don't push the memberships too early because there's nothing there to really sell and you're not going to get that much interest. So it's more an awareness of what the facility is going to be. Then as we get closer to the date, then we're sort of more focused on the membership sales and doing that part. I'm not sure, Mr. Purdy, if you want to speak to the marketing.
Yeah, I can speak to that sort of pre-opening strategy there with the membership sales, as you mentioned, that you don't want to go too early and start selling memberships in January when we may not have a firm opening date. Ideally, you're 4 to 6 weeks out from an opening date when you start to do the pre-sale of the memberships. This does a couple of things. One, it better allows us to have an understanding of the revenue that we're going to be generating early to help with the budgeting process. It creates excitement as well for when we're opening and allows us to have a better understanding of the members we're going to be serving when the facility does open and be able to program accordingly for the start of operations. So about 4 to 6 weeks out from that opening date, that'll be when sort of those pre-sales start happening. And in the meantime, as we mentioned, this is when we start building excitement in the new year for what's to come.
Just in addition to that, early on, we had that discussion too. Some of the funds can be used towards fundraising operations and that part early on. And that's why you'll see in the resolution I'll put on the table shortly that the recommendation is for myself and the chair of the fundraising committee to work with the marketing company in terms of that piece of it to drive that part of it as well. Questions? Comments? Right, and I'll put that, have a mover and a seconder. Draft budget moved by Mayor McGarvey, seconded by Councillor Fellner. That the MSB approve the 2025 budget inclusive of the pre-opening budget prepared by the YMCA, that the chair of the board and the chair of the fundraising team work with the YMCA and the marketing communications company to confirm the marketing communication plan to ensure a successful opening of the new recreation center, and that the MSB authorize the purchase of fitness equipment, other equipment and furnishings, and that partner municipalities be invoiced for their respective share of the 2025 municipal contribution required to fund the budget. Discussion? I'm not sure if Mr. Purdy or Mr. Hunter, you want to speak to the equipment piece at this point in time?
No, it's pretty detailed in the report. We had several meetings with the Y to determine what was needed. The original list was pretty in-depth and what was required a lot more than we needed. So we managed to pare that down to what you see today. So I think the original cost is around 800,000. And then we're down around 500 now. So we worked long and hard to get this down to something that's more appropriate for the size of the building and for our budget.
Maybe you can speak to the sourcing in terms of suppliers.
So the Y was gracious enough to do most of the groundwork on this here. They went out, got all the pricing from 3 or 4 different suppliers. and they've helped put the best package together for the equipment that's needed for the building. Some of the requirements there were, you can see now all the equipment's made by one supplier, multiple suppliers for the best pricing. And in some cases, the other one supplier had better equipment and a better reputation than some of the other ones that the Wise have experience with. So we tried to set this building up with equipment that would be the most appropriate and with the longest life in it for us anyway. So that's kind of where we went with the equipment and supplies.
Okay, thank you. I'll just add comment, just I'm anticipating this being at council tables and maybe members getting questions from councils. On the general administration number, the $35,450, the board will recall that as part of our agreement, there was the 13% admin fee on top of, applied against revenues. Obviously for the obvious to me, but for the pre-opening budget, there is no revenue. So you can't, there's nothing to apply a 13% to yet. There's a lot of work being done by the YMCA administratively. So because of that, that's why this is the number this comes up. So if that question comes up at your council tables, that's the short explanation of that number. Any other questions or comments on the resolution? Call the question. All those in favor? It's carried. Thank you, Mr. Purdy. Item 3.6, 36 Smith Crescent, official plan amendment and rezoning. Is that Mr. Harris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In September, the board got ownership of the Y property, the former Y property at 36 Smith Crescent. The intent is to sell that property, and I believe it's listed currently. So to sell that property, use the net proceeds to pay for the equipment that was referred to earlier and funding towards the construction of the new facility. In discussions with the firm that realty firm that's been engaged, they're suggesting that the rezoning the property as well as an official plan amendment, because right now the property is zoned open space. And that's what it is, the official plan as well. So will be higher and better uses, more interest in the property if it's rezoned. To start that process, this report suggests it gets started, and the town would be the town planner would be the recipient of that application and review it. But we need someone to, on the board's behalf, submit an application. I understand that Seguin has offered to have their town planner or township planner submit that application. I think that's good for the board, but it's also good because Seguin's town planner was previously the planner in Parry Sound, so very familiar with the town and the policies, and so that should go smoothly. In speaking with the firm, they suggested that the property be rezoned to C3 highway commercial. And after I received that information on Friday, I touched base with our town planner, and that seemed to make sense with him as well. So I think we're on the path to just getting things changed as quickly as possible. And that will, if potential purchasers see that process is underway, that will give them confidence, I think, as well, that they're not buying a property that may get rezoned, and they'll see that in the works.
Questions, comments on that? Councillor Kelly?
Thank you for that. Thank you, Mayor. What would be the timeline on a rezoning application like that?
Through the chair, we've done other ones in the town, and one thing we would do is do the OPA and the rezoning concurrently, not one followed by the other. Saves time. In speaking with the planner, he thinks 2 to 4 months. So it's not, sometimes they can take an awful lot of time, but we've had other ones recently in town where we've been able to manage that time frame.
Questions or comments regarding that? I'll just make comment for the benefit of the board that the the real estate listing is live now. If you want to go look, very professional presentation to that listing. The approach is, the listing went live, I think, November 15th. No bids being accepted, and it's on a bid process. There's no set price for it. So that kind of leaves it open then for the board as well. So after 30 days time, we'll be accepting bids as of December the 15th. But that leaves the board in a position where if we don't receive a bid that we're not satisfied with, then it just stays open after that for the bid process to try and maximize the most return we can get out of that building. So everyone understands the process. There's no other questions, and I'll put that resolution on the table. I'm a mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor Fellner, seconded by Mayor McGarvey, that the board authorize the Township of Sigmund's planner to submit an application on the board's behalf to amend the Town of Parry Sound's official plan and zoning bylaw to permit C3 highway commercial on the property. Discussion. Just one question, I guess, that came to mind. That C3, that will permit the existing use as well. Mr. Harris, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that as a recreation center.
I'm not sure if it does. What I did have a conversation is we can't have conflicting zonings. If it's recreation, then it can't be commercial. So I think there's a chance to as the two planners work together to see what can be accommodated. But I can't answer that specifically this evening.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? And I'll call the question. All those in favor? Carried. Item 3.7 is the fundraising sponsorship update. Verbal update by fundraising chair committee, Mayor Ann McDermott. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Chair. I just want to tell you that I have contracts here for $515,000 more in sponsorship from 3 individual groups. And right now I'm almost out of physical assets to sell. So I need to get a little bit creative, and that takes me to 3.8. We had priced the aquatic area or the whole pool area at $1 million. And I am proposing that we split it into $250,000 for the therapy pool and $750,000 for the 6-lane pool. I have an offer on the therapy pool at $250,000 that I'd like to accept. I can't say I've got a lot of people putting their hands up for the $1 million price tags of either of them. So I'd like the board's agreement to let me split the aquatic. I am in discussion with a group of potential people or organizations for the $1 million for the gym. I can't tell you who it is, but there is a group that are considering doing it together. I would hope that the MSB would let me split the aquatic assets.
I'd like to move that we do split the aquatic part of it. I think that's a good plan.
You'll have as a separate resolution. So mover, seconded by Councillor Kelly. Any further discussion on splitting the therapy pool and the main aquatic center into 2 for the benefit of fundraising? All's in favor? Oh, well, sorry, Limerence. I missed your hand there,
So Ann, have you thought about potentially breaking it down into smaller parts, like maybe having a sponsorship for each lane in the pool?
No, I haven't, quite honestly. We are starting the discussion about how we're signing things. So that in and of itself might be a little bit of a challenge. But as people make offers, organizations make offers to me, I certainly will bring that idea forward to the MSB. I have to say that Mr. Mellett has been a huge asset in saying, oh, have you sold this, Ann? Have you sold that? So he's created a few things that we didn't even know we had, like the curtain that's going to divide the gym into is now been sold. So it's an
So I
interesting
guess-
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is if we go ahead and give you the approval to split the pool and the therapy pool, is I would propose that we give you the flexibility to, if you so decide to split the lanes out as well, that you do it now as opposed to having to come back to the MSB.
Okay.
Leave that up to you.
Having that flexibility would help me every time I'm in a discussion.
Yeah. So can we amend the resolution then to give Ann the right to name the pool or lanes and the therapy pool as she sees fit?
So it would read then, I guess, to split with 250,000 for the therapy pool and 750,000 for the aquatic center or parts thereof.
That would work.
That works?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? All's in favor? It's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All the flexibility helps. I'm going to now move on to 3.9 and ask Libby Walker to come forward, who is the chair of the sneak peek party. And I just want to say to Ryan, we're already on to the excitement because we have a special event planned for 4 weeks before opening. So you can hear about what we'd love to do with your $90,000 in marketing money.
Well, part of it.
Or parts thereof.
Yeah. Over to you, Libby.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to participate and to ask for this event to move forward in a timely fashion. We started in the summer. We spoke with Jason Ball at great length, and he was totally supportive. And the date that we have targeted, April 25, 24, 25 of 2026, he felt was totally doable in terms of occupancy, and that there would be hydro and water, and we could host a public event. So our goal is really to celebrate not only the construction and the potential opening of this building, but also the work that we have done within the community to finally make this happen. And I'm thrilled that I happened to be here when Ryan made his presentation, because as most of you know, swimming is near and dear to our heart. And my daughter actually started swimming at 9 months old at the Y in Guelph. And we lived across the road from the brand new Y that was built at on the corner of the Hanlon Expressway. And we used to walk over there, and she went on to swim for Team Canada for 9 years. And it all started at our local Y. And so that's what I hope for every kid in West Parry Sound, is that they have the opportunity to pursue a pastime, a sport, a hobby. And for me, this is a true moment of celebration. And so we're celebrating the work we've done, we're celebrating the opening of this facility, and we're really building awareness and the need to drive memberships. And I think we can do this all at once. So you've seen in the outline, we have a program that we're excited about. There'll be some guest speakers, there'll be tours of the facility, a silent auction, a raffle, a live auction, and hard hat stations. So we've been told hard hats are not a problem. They probably won't be mandatory, but participants will get a hard hat, and then we'll have a station they can decorate them with whatever stickers, hopefully related to the sponsors, that they would like. So in terms of our expenses for the evening, the biggest expense is, of course, food and refreshments. And so we've been working with Rosso Pizzeria, and they have come up with a menu, and all we need forward from them is a deposit. So that's what we're here tonight asking for. And then we can continue to solidify our plans and move forward. And hopefully the date will still work. I'm confident.
Yeah, Vlad said we'll decide on whether it's the Friday or the Saturday night, the first week in January. So it's his call on when we have occupancy, but that's what we're targeting for.
So I don't know if you have any questions.
Any questions or comments, Councillor Kelly?
Thank you very much for your enthusiasm, and we used to be neighbors. I used to live at Corright and Downey. In the spirit of Reeve Riki's flexibility offered to Ann, you gonna come back in January for another $500, or should we round that number up?
I mean, you can round it up if you'd like. The fundraisers have spent a little money without coming back to you, like to print brochures and to print things. And so this is kind of the biggest deposit, and it makes a commitment to Rosso Pizzeria. If you round it up to $2,500 for expenses out of our pocket, it wouldn't hurt us.
It's on the deposit that you're talking about rounding it up? That's what the resolution for is, for the deposit.
Yeah, I mean, the deposit's quite specific, and I obviously have no problem with the deposit requested amount, but all of these fundraising activities do cost money. If you have a budget you can use for other incendiaries, then that's fine. We can leave it at this amount.
Yeah, we do, working with Miss Phillips, when we have a small
Okay,
thing to pay,
that's
we
fine.
sign it, but
Yep, okay.
our goal is to make a significant amount of money, and we won't overinvest before we
Okay,
start selling tickets.
won't mess with your resolution, then we'll leave it as is.
And I do want to draw your attention to the fact that I hope you'll all be there, but there are going to be no complimentary tickets for anyone. You need to buy a ticket to come to the sneak peek party.
And bring friends.
Yeah.
No free sneak peeks.
April.
I'll put the resolution on the table, then we can, if there's any further discussion, a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Kelly, seconded by Councillor Fellner, that the board authorize a down payment of $1,933 to Rosso Pizzeria to secure the catering for the hard hat party scheduled for late April. Any further discussion or questions? All the questions, all those in favor? It's carried.
I do want to point out that we went out to tender for the catering, and Rosso Pizzeria has been incredibly flexible. If you note, no gratuities. The senior manager is going to work for free. They're going to train the kids from the high school in the catering program to work that night. Their quote has come down significantly without changing the food options. The other reason we went with them is we have no kitchen. And they were the first people that came to us and said, well, we can staff the whole thing at food stations. And working with Vlad, they know where there's electricity and water. And so they said, we don't need a kitchen. So they've been really quite innovative. So thank you.
Thank you. How do we can that enthusiasm? Oh, okay.
Yes, and we get her daughter, the Olympic swimmer, to come and talk to us.
Thank you very much for all that you do. Item 4 is moving to close meeting. If there's nothing else for the open agenda. Mover and seconder, moved by Councillor Kelly, seconded by Mayor McGarvey. That pursuant to section 239, paragraph 2 and 3 of the Municipal Act 2001, chapter 25 as amended, the Westbury Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Board moves to a meeting closed to the public in order to address matters pertaining to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically personal matters about an identifiable individual. All's in favor? It's carried. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Tal. Bye, everybody.
Feel better.
I will.